That's right, good. Okay. And we're back. Um, so in closing here, I guess one of my ultimate questions is, does the methadone program work?
I mean, for me, it's been good. It depends, I think, on your intention on, whether you're going there so you can stop, or whether you go there to get methadone so that you're not sick. It depends. And the other thing too is like, if I had went there, not planning on stopping doing dope, then I would just kind of take the methadone and once you have bottles, you can kind of do as you please. You're not forced to take it right there. So if I wanted to get high, I would just not take a bottle. So you have to go there with the intent on getting and staying clean. The medication works. If you take it every day, you don't have any urge to, really get, you're not thinking about getting high all day because you have a synthetic opiate in you. So it takes it off your mind is what it does. It makes it easier for you to stop. I think a lot of people get discouraged because they take it and then they say, well, I mean, kind of doing the same thing. I'm taking something to not be sick and to not get, have cravings. But you're also not robbing and stealing from anyone. You can live a normal life. When you're on methadone, like nobody has to know. You don't have to tell anybody you're on it.
And so every morning, so when you start out, every morning before work, my friends go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Mechanics and stuff and whatever. So you go in the morning and you got to buy it every day, and then you build up a trust with them, and then you bring home bottles like you do.
Yeah. Once you start, basically you go there. They start everybody at 30 milligrams, and then depending on how, it depends on how bad your habit was. It depends on your tolerance, but.
But can't you still get high if you're on 30? Someone told me that they were on 30 milligrams, but they could still do dope because it wasn't strong enough. So they had to go up to like 90.
I'm on a high dose, but like when I started methadone, I couldn't take just the 30 milligrams because it wasn't enough. They have to start you at 30 milligrams so that you don't overdose. You don't know what your tolerance is. So they start you at 30 milligrams, and then every couple days they bring you up 10 milligrams. And then once you get to the point where you feel okay, where you're not sick at all, you don't have the cravings, and you tell them you want to stop, and whatever dose that is, it is 60 milligrams, 70 milligrams, whatever. And then you stay at that. Basically, it's meant to be a long-term thing. It's not meant to to go to the methadone clinic for 2 months. That just doesn't work. I mean, the point of being on methadone is so that you don't have the thoughts, the cravings, the need to get high anymore. So you get up to the dose you're at, and then basically it's almost like anything else. Like, some people take, heart medication, some people take depression medication, whatever. It's the same kind of thing. You're just taking a medication to, so you can go about your day and have a normal life. It's very hard for a heroin addict to, have a job or a good job, because you're always running around getting shit. You're always sick, so it's very hard to go to a 9-to-5 job every day when you're sick from dope. So the methadone makes it so you can have a normal life. You can wake up in the morning, you take your methadone and you go to work, just like anybody else would.
And now it's up to you to wean yourself off. I mean, you tell them, hey, I want to go down.
Yeah, basically you tell them at some point, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to start coming down. Once you're comfortable and, you've had, a period of time that you've been able to stay clean and not have problems, and you say, I want to come down. And you could either come down at your own pace. Coming off it takes a long time.
You don't think they should force or why would this not work? I don't know, one way or the other, but I mean, it should be mandatory where they say, okay, you've been on X amount of time, now we are going to slowly decrease you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't think it's a great idea for it to, become like an entire lifelong process. I mean, in my mind it shouldn't. But, it's tough because, number one, it takes a lot of people a long time to get to the point where they're comfortable enough to come off of it, because you got to realize for the last, say, 2-3 years you've been on methadone, well, yeah, right now you think that you're gonna be okay when you stop. The problem is, once it's out of your system and you are off the methadone, you don't know if those cravings are gonna come back. You don't know if it's been a long enough period, that you don't wanna go back to
Oh,
doing it.
wow, that's a good.
So that was my point. Like in the beginning, I told myself, I said, 2 years, that's it. I wanna be on for 2 years, I wanna be off by the end. So, it didn't work like that though, because, you have the periods where you don't feel like you'll be comfortable coming off, like, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm gonna wanna go back. So it was like, should I stay on or should I get off? And then I just said to myself at the point, I said, if I'm asking myself that question, whether I feel like I'm gonna be comfortable, I probably shouldn't come off.
Right, right, yeah.
And the other thing with, my case was that, I have other medication, I have, I've always had like anger problems and stuff like that, so, I mean, I'm on medication for bipolar disorder, so.
What
I have to-
medication's that?
I take Depakote,
What else are you prescribed that you take right now?
that's it, just Depakote.
Do you ever hear of anybody being on Xanax and methadone?
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
I know a guy, and he is on both of them, and
Yeah.
it's so, I just hate looking at him like
Yeah.
that. And why doesn't the methadone doctor know about the Xanax doctor?
Some people do, like they'll let you be on both. It's not a good idea because they're both downers, and it's probably about I believe it is actually the worst combination of any two drugs you can actually take.
You could die if you stop. If you stop Xanax cold turkey,
Yeah.
you could die.
Yeah, you could have seizures, and that's another dangerous medication, but it seems to be like a very prevalent thing when you go to the clinics. Everybody there looks like, like when I'm waiting in line, like out of 20 people, 4 or 5 of them are basically, nodding off, and then they pop back up, and it's not from dope, it's from Xanax.
Were you ever prescribed Xanax?
Yeah.
Did you like? How do you abuse Xanax?
Well, it started out, yeah. You just, the more you take, I mean, you'll be higher. It's just, when I started it, it was for anxiety. I was 14 when I started getting them prescribed. And
That seems like so young to even
Yeah.
experience anxiety.
yeah, exactly. That's the
Not to
problem.
say that you.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. Is that these doctors just, at the time I didn't even really know what it was or anything. It just knew when I took it, it made me feel good. So it was like these doctors just kind of give anything out. You can. There's doctors that were out there giving people, OxyContin for, a knee surgery. It's not what it was for. It was for end of life care. It's for people dying from cancer that are in pain. That's what OxyContin is for.
Do you think doctors get kickbacks when they sell
Definitely.
medication?
Yeah, the more they sell from a certain company, I believe they probably get a profit from it.
That's like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. No, and here, give these out to anyone, and just for instance, I mean, if the way it worked were that they were getting more money, kickback, and as the more they gave out, so if they gave out 10,000 of these, whatever pills, they get this much, and if they give out 20,000 of them, they get even more. So, I think a lot of doctors are prescribing medication that they shouldn't have been prescribing.
Oh, how
and they do.
selfish.
But they're getting money. And
Like they don't make enough money already.
Yeah.
They gotta do drugs.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Drug dealers.
yeah, basically they're legal drug dealers. There's, and then people die from things like that, from Percocets and OxyContin, whatever it is, and then they try to reformulate it and make it safer, so it can't be tampered with, which is what they did with the OxyContin.
Can't crush them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they're still out there making stronger and stronger drugs. Every couple of years something new comes out that's stronger than the last one.
Jesus, like a government conspiracy to numb down the people or something.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's basically everybody in this country is dependent on something.
Yeah, there's so many people that say like, oh yeah, I go to get my Xanax prescription. I go, you're on Xanax?
Yeah.
Why are you on Xanax? And like, I need Xanax because I have anxiety. I'm like,
Yeah, that's. I think the biggest problem with it is people get it in their head that they have a problem, and rather than just doing whatever exercise, you know what I mean? Like maybe
yeah, go running.
Yeah, try something. Back in like the 30s and 40s,
What do people do?
yeah, they didn't have
Yeah.
all these things. Basically there's a pill for everything. You have a pill for your mood, and then the side effects from that require you to take another one, which, you know, require another one and
Yeah.
another one, and, you know.
May have thoughts of suicide.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you're on antidepressants that might make you kill yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
I'm happy, but boy, that rope looks inviting. I think I'm gonna run my car. Honey, I'm gonna run my car in the garage.
Yeah.
Life insurance policies on the coffee table.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's been over the past, you know, the past few decades. It's just, it's like everybody's on something.
Yeah.
You know, and these pharmacy companies that make all these pills, you know, them and the government, the FDA, and it's like everybody's in it for the money, and they don't care what it does to you. You know, you don't think a doctor cared when he prescribed a 14-year-old, you know, pain medication that he shouldn't have. You don't think he doesn't care. He doesn't. You think he cares that I became a heroin addict later in life? Or like,
No, we should call him up and ask him about it.
yeah, it's like, you know, the tough thing is, I mean, he's got a job to do, and you know, they've just gotten so used to giving out medication that it numbs them down. They don't even care. They don't care what it's doing to people. You know, you can't tell me any doctor out there doesn't know what he's doing by prescribing some of these.
I had a doctor, my doctor in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, great guy. He said, you know, you are definitely eligible to take, I don't know, if I'm a hyperactive adult, what would I take to calm me down?
Well, they put
I
you
forget
on
what he said.
ADD medication,
Yeah.
like Ritalin or
Adult Ritalin? Or,
yeah, it's what do they call it?
I can't even. But, you know, he offered this to me.
Yeah,
And he's like, and it's covered by your insurance. So I get free calm me down pills or focus
Yeah.
pills. What is it?
Yeah,
Adderall.
it's
Adderall.
yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to prescribe me Adderall. Now, among friends, they said, hey, want to try this Adderall?
Yeah.
You know, sure. And I did it, and it was cool or whatever. And I know people that get prescribed to it. He was trying to prescribe me Adderall. The only thing I would ever do is sell it to people. And why are you trying to put me on a drug that I've been living my entire life just fine without?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I like
the thing
helping
is-
him.
Yeah, that's the thing is they want you to take medication because they're getting paid for it. You know, it's a bad thing. Like, you know, these big companies out there that are making these pills that they know people are going to abuse. People,
Yeah, the secret's out, guys.
I mean, I understand that, you know, people out there do need pain medication, you know, because they do have problems. People have, you know, very bad back problems and they need it, or cancer or whatever it is, you know, but that's all these medications are meant for. They're not meant to, you're not meant to get a Percocet 30 for, you know, for stubbing your toe. Perc 30s and Oxys, they were made for people that were in hospice, dying of cancer and pain. That's what they were made for. You know, there's people out there that need things like that, but there's also a lot of people that don't need things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's up to them, the doctor, to decide who needs what and give it out appropriately. Not, you know, and just give everybody the strongest ones. They know what they're doing.
Because
They
they'll
know
be back.
Yeah, they know they're coming back. They know. It's illegal drug dealers, what it is, you know, and the government allows it, and it caused this problem that we have. Like, people, I mean, I think everybody knows now that there's a huge heroin epidemic and opiate epidemic. There's people dying at such a high rate from opiate overdose, and nobody is doing anything. It doesn't even seem like it's a big thing in the news. You don't see it all the time in the news, like, you know.
And they don't say it. I see something on Facebook from Record Journal that says such and such died unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Why don't we just say why they're dying? Because there might be some people who are oblivious to it.
Yeah,
you know,
there's
like people's grandparents. I don't know. They don't know what the heck they're doing.
No, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of overdoses in each state, and it's every year. If you look at the rate that the overdoses have gone up, it's insane. If you go back even just to 2008 and now, I mean, the rate of drug overdoses.
There was 152 in the past 3 years in Wallingford.
Yeah.
I believe that's the right number.
It's crazy. It's like, I mean, more people are overdosing in a week than having, you know, 8 years ago, you know, that would in a normal year.
Yeah.
It's gone up so much. Just, you know, I mean, even seeing people like from high school or whatever, people I never in my life would have ever thought would do drugs ended up heroin addicts. You know, like, you know, 10 years ago, it was kind of just starting out, but it was like, you know, these,
Who's the first one to die?
let's see, I don't even remember anymore, because there's just been so many, you know, like, I mean,
Remember Craig
Craig
Weeborg?
Weeborg, yeah.
Craig Weeborg, oh my God.
Yeah, Troy Piven
Troy,
overdosed.
yep,
I never, you know, he was not somebody that I never even knew did anything.
yep.
You know, and it's just the rate has gone up so much, and nothing's really being done about it. I mean, the amount of tens of thousands of kids that are dying, you would think that that would be a big thing to the government. Like, look at this problem. What do we need to do
Yeah.
to try to stop it? You know, it's,
Potential voters are dying here,
Yeah.
politicians, come on.
you know, and part of it is like, you know, they're not doing anything about it because it's making money. You know, it's
dirty
making money for them. You know, but you know, it's lining these politicians' pockets when they don't care where it's coming from. You know, something should be done.
Have you ever overdosed?
Yeah, I overdosed twice, and it's a scary feeling, like when you know it's coming, and you don't know what to do first. You know.
What do you mean you know it's coming?
Like, I mean, I knew, like, when it was happening. I knew after as soon as I did it, as soon as I shot.
Was it a big amount or was it bad?
No, it was a normal amount that I normally would do, and it was just stronger than I normally, you know, I always usually did a certain amount, and every time, you know, I get a different stamp.
Was it from a different,
No, same guy,
different
same
gene?
guy, everything, and he gets new bags every month or so.
Does he have a Yelp? Maybe you should be like, what's that?
No, I think he's actually in jail now.
So you knew it, so it's coming,
Yeah, as
what
soon
is
as I
it?
did it, it's just, you know, as soon as I took the tide off, I just got this, you know, this really hot feeling in my whole body. I got dizzy, and I couldn't, you know, I couldn't like focus at all. And
Where were you?
I was in a sober house, ironically, and then I stood up. You know, I was sitting down on my bed. I stood up, and I ended up falling over. I went like face first right into the TV where the wall was, and that was it. That's all I remembered. Next thing you know, I woke up in the ambulance, and I was throwing up everywhere because they just shot me with Narcan.
Where'd they give it to you?
I don't even know. I was so out of it. I have no clue. I don't even remember anything. I just remember these bits and pieces of the story. Like, you know, like I was told afterwards everything that happened, and I'm trying to piece it together. Like, I can't remember any of that. And I woke up, and next thing you know, when I woke up, it was like 2 days later. I was just so out of it for 2 days in the hospital. And I woke up, and they had me in the psych ward. At first they must have, I don't know, I think they just thought I did it on purpose or something, you know. So next thing you know, I woke up there, and I couldn't get out. I had nobody to pick me up, you know, so I ended up, I called my drug dealer, and he came and picked me up and signed me out of the hospital.
Come on.
So, you know, it's just...
And he had no problem?
No.
Now, who is this guy? Or, I mean, obviously not his name, but like, just describe him to me.
He was like probably about 30 or so, black guy, real tall, skinny. You know, he seemed like a regular nice guy. Like, you know,
He was nice.
it's odd. You know, it was like, you know, every time I went, you know, I'd sit and talk with him, and you know, he was all right. I mean, he doesn't care. You know, I mean, I know that. I mean, you know, he's not going to care.
He got you out of he signed you out because
Then he can
that's
tell me
good for
more.
business.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Nice guy though.
you know, but it was like, you know, it's weird because you know, he had this, you know, he seemed like, you know, an alright guy. You know, he'd bullshit with you, and we talk, and you know, he was cool. Like, he wasn't a bad guy. I mean, he's got a family to feed too. You know, I mean, he just does it illegally. That's all. Which, I mean, that's his option. You know, and the thing is you know you're buying a dangerous product that you don't know what the outcome's going to be. So, you know, by doing that, injecting it, and you know, you're putting yourself in a bad situation. So I figured, you know, I didn't look at it like, you know, these are bad guys. I mean, he chooses to do one thing for work, I choose to do another.
Yeah.
You know, and I know what I'm doing when I do it. You know, I know the risks and the dangers when back when I did it, I knew that was a possibility. You know, so, you know, I never blamed anybody for it, and, you know, I didn't try to sit there and blame people for my addiction and why I am how I am, and, you know, I just kind of like realized, like, you know, I chose to do this. Nobody forced me to do anything. You know, so,
Where was the second place you OD'd?
I did when I was in Florida, and it was just, I did it, and it was just, I don't know, it was bad. It just didn't, wasn't more or less than I would normally do, and it was the same thing, and same exact outcome, and it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't scare me though. It was just, it's like, it's coming, and after first time I overdosed, like, I just looked at it like, well, I overdosed, I'm still alive.
Did you have a religious experience or anything, or
No.
It was all science.
No, it was crazy. I remember being in the back of the ambulance, and I remember right before I got high that night that I overdosed the first time, I was eating a bag of Doritos, and when I woke up in the ambulance, after they shot me with Narcan, I just woke up and I was freaking out about my Doritos. I was so out of it. I was yelling at the paramedic, like, telling him to get me my Doritos. Like, it was just, I was so out of it. And it was a scary experience, but then it was like, 2 days later, I'm back out doing it again, and it just,
God.
it's just it's a scarier thought that you can overdose, almost die, and then go right back to doing it, because you're that messed up in the head, you're just, you care about it so much, you love the feeling so much that you're willing to basically almost die every time you do it, because you don't know what's in that bag.
Did you think life was cheap to you, or I mean, maybe it's the same thing that people that jump motorcycles over school buses. I don't know. Do you have like more of a value for life now, or was it not even about that?
Yeah. Now I do. I mean, that's by being on methadone and not having to go shoot dope every day. I have a normal life. I mean, I have a great job. I have a 2-year-old. And, I have my girlfriend, and I have a family now. I have my own place. I have nice cars. I have nice things now. It's not that I don't ever think about it, but it's like once you do it, it's always somewhere in your mind. It's always in the back of your head whether it's going to happen again. But once you have some things in life, and you have a family that cares about you, you have a little baby that loves you. You think about everything a little bit more, because now if something were to happen and I were to overdose, it wouldn't be just my life being affected, it would be everybody around me. Back then I didn't care, I didn't have a kid or any of this, I was just...
Did your parents know you overdosed?
Yeah, the first time, man, they wouldn't sign me out of the hospital when I called. They thought I needed to stay, so... So, so back then, no, I just didn't care. I didn't care how I felt or how I made people feel, I knew, like, I was, like, destroying my family, like, I had parents that care about me, and, it was like having to see that look on my mother's face every time I walk in the house and she knows I'm high, just by looking at me. So it was like, afterwards you realize how much you affected other people, not only did you, damage your own life, but you affected so many people around you, and, people that care about you, even just friends and family, just because you're not thinking about what you're doing can cause, by doing heroin and possibly dying, you're not thinking about that, but they are. It's like, now, later on, I can look back and say, now I know that, I made people, worry and not sleep at night because they didn't know if I was going to, be alive the next day. They don't know if they're waiting for a phone call at 3 in the morning from the hospital saying I overdosed and died. You see what you've done to people at this point. You realize how you've affected all these people's lives, and afterwards it doesn't just go away. It's not like a week later somebody just all of a sudden trusts you. It takes years and years and years to get the trust back, and it's not easy. 'Cause for that time you have to make sure you're doing the right thing. And, it's not just about not shooting heroin. It's about living living your whole life a different way.
Yeah. Forget about asking anybody for money ever.
Yeah.
Like, dude, can I borrow $100 till Friday?
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, and what are you doing with that?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's not about this. You gotta really, you gotta do everything a different way. You have to, stop hanging out with the people you hung out with. You have to, have some kind of plan for what you're gonna do. You can't just stop using and then just go back to your regular life, because everything's gonna make you think about it. Like, I remember after I'd stopped one of the times I went to rehab. I came back and I went to work at my parents', and it was like everything in there just reminded me of, oh, I got high here, I got high here, I got high here, I did this here. You know, it was like, it just reminded me of it so much.
Could you do that? Have you done it at work before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to.
When I was at my parents', yeah, I would just, you know, I would just go in the bathroom and do it, and I'd come back out, and at the time, nobody knew anything. You know, I was able to hide it.
Wow. Well, that's pretty good. Just real quick here, what year's your Mustang?
2011.
And what'd you do to that thing?
Did intake, throttle body, header back exhaust, some suspension tune.
You like ripping around that thing?
Yeah, it's nice to sit in my parents' garage now. It's you know, it's hard to drive it now because I got a kid and he doesn't fit in the back.
Talk about a Sunday driver.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't, it's 5 years old, 6 years old now, and it's only got like 18,000 miles on it.
Oh,
So.
see, that's good. You'll appreciate it
Yeah.
more as time goes
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
We gotta go for a rip.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Down.
That's good.
All right, good.
Okay, let's do it.